One of the added perks of a Sub2 deal is you get those refund checks, escrow refunds, insurance refunds, that sort of thing. And you don't hear a lot of people talk about it, but we're going to talk about that today. What do you do with those refund checks?
Just buy a house already.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about what to do with refund checks on Sub2 deals. Now, if you're not familiar with Sub2 deals, you're not aware of this. If you do them, you're probably quite aware. But if you do things the way we teach to do, and number one is with insurance, for example, the first thing we do when we're ready to close, we go out and we get a new insurance policy. With a carrier that provides a landlord policy or dwelling policy for us. Now, most times when you buy subject to, not always, but most times you're going to buy it from an owner occupant. And owner occupant insurance is usually a good bit more expensive than a landlord policy because it covers contents. And, depending on what kind of stuff you have in your house, it could be pretty expensive. So what we're finding now is that typically when we convert to a landlord policy, the price of the insurance drops several $100s a year. So it makes a difference in your cash flow. And that's another good reason to make sure you make that change. You also want to make that change to make sure that you're insured because you don't want something to happen. You've still got that owner's policy that belonged to your seller, and then the insurance company's not going to pay because the seller doesn't own the house anymore. So, but a side benefit of that change is that the policy you cancel for your seller, the refund should come to you. Another thing that we teach, and hopefully you're doing this if you're doing Sub2 deals, is one of the closing documents that you're getting is an assignment of escrow. Okay, because most of your sellers are going to have an escrow account with their mortgage. I would say in 26 years of doing this, I have seen, gosh, I could count on one hand the number of times that a seller didn't have an escrow account. So since escrow typically pays for insurance and taxes and those things, when you cancel a policy with that insurance company that belonged to your seller, they're going to send the refund typically to the seller. But this is how we handle it. Okay, let's say that I close on Bob's property today, and I've got my new insurance policy in place. I make sure that that's done. Then I'm going to call Bob's old insurance provider. In this case, it's State Farm. And I'm going to say, hey, State Farm, my name's William, and I have taken over this property for Bob, and we've put new insurance in place effective this date. I need to let you guys know that so we can get a refund. And of course, they may have some questions. We generally let them know in the contact that we have a power of attorney to do this for Bob and that we can forward that to them if they'd like. And most people ask for it, some don't. But what we tell them to do at that time is to send that refund check to Bob in care of William Tingle at our mailing address. Now, in a couple of weeks, that check's going to show up. It's going to be made out to Bob in care of William. But you know what? The fact that my name, my personal name, is on that check makes it really easy for me to endorse it and deposit it. And I've done this with several different bank accounts. It has never been an issue, as opposed to trying to use a power of attorney to deposit it if it's just in Bob's name. The same thing is true with a escrow refund. When that new insurance policy comes in and it's several $100s a year less than the old one, guess what? Your escrow is probably going to go down. So you're probably going to get an escrow refund. When that happens, same thing. When you take over Bob's house subject to, when you change the mailing address with the lender for correspondence, don't forget to add that in care of your name. So with Bob's property, when I went into the online portal and I changed the contact address, I also changed that, not just changing the address, but changing and adding the line in care of William Tingle. So now it comes to me, it's got my name on it. It's really easy to endorse. Now, there are a lot of methods out there that people teach on how to handle escrow and insurance refund checks. And I'm going to run through a couple of them and tell you what I think about it. And I've heard this over the years from several different teachers. One teacher, actually my favorite teacher out there, always told me, just forget about it. Just throw them in the garbage. But I'm going to tell you, the average deal for us right now results in a $2,000 to $3,000 refund on insurance policy, canceled insurance policies, and then on escrow refunds. And that's in the first year. Okay. And I don't know about you, but $3,000, $2,000 to $3,000, man, I'm all about it. Okay. So the idea of throwing those in the trash and not worrying about it, it wasn't too attractive for me. So I'm a little bit more, I guess I don't mind doing a few minutes of work on the front end for that kind of payday. So I think that's a bad idea. You remember, if you got that escrow assignment, that assignment of escrow agreement when you bought the house, you have full permission to take advantage of those refunds. You own them now as part of what you bought with the house. Number two, use your power of attorney to sign and assign the check. Like, let's say, and this is in a case where maybe you had insurance work done, you had an insurance claim. So they say, just endorse that check and assign it over to the contractor that did the work. Well, that's not going to happen very often. So that's not going to be a remedy very often. And then you're just passing the problem along to the contractor. And they're probably going to come back to you and go, I can't get this check cashed anywhere. What can I do? You still owe me money. I think that's a bad idea as well. The third method that I hear a lot is to go to the seller and have them endorse the check and offer to split it with them or do something like that. And that might be okay. But if you're like me, once my transaction's completed with the seller, I really don't care to bump into them again. And a lot of times you won't. Remember, they're selling to you because they're probably in crisis or they have some kind of life change. They're moving across the country. Something's happening. Getting in touch with them and trying to explain to them why they need to sign this check and give me half of it, even though they signed that escrow agreement, just doesn't sound like something that I want to do. I want to be able to take care of this thing on my own. So I don't think that is a very good idea. And then another method that we hear about is having the insurance company or the mortgage company reissue the check in your name or your business name or whatever. And I'm going to tell you something. That is not very likely to happen. So I just totally disregard that. Remember, if you go into this thing in the beginning doing what we teach to do, and that's number one, getting that document on the front end, the assignment of escrow and insurance proceeds, you're covered there. Number two is making sure you contact the canceled insurance provider to let them know who to send that check to. Send it to the seller's name in care of your name, not your business name. If your company name is Super Successful Investor LLC, don't have it sent to that. If your name is Joe Jones, have it sent to Bob Smith in care of Joe Jones at your mailing address. Your name's on the check then, and I can just about guarantee you, if you just endorse that, your bank will take that check. You're going to be on Super Successful Investor LLC's account, so they'll probably take it. And then when you change the address, mailing address with the lender, also add the line in care of and add your name. That ensures that every correspondence, every escrow refund is going to come to your seller in care of you, and that name's going to be on there. And again, that's going to make it easy to deposit. And I'm going to tell you this isn't related to cashing checks, but I'm just going to add this as a side note. If you're not adding that line with the lender, okay, with the lender in care of your name, every time you open mail addressed to somebody else, that could be a problem for you somewhere down the road. And if you know me or send me a message, ask me how I know that. I don't want to talk about how I know that, but I know a guy that got into a lot of trouble. And that's what they got him for, was opening mail addressed to somebody else. Okay, so you got to be really careful out there with the things you do and how you handle them. So hope this helps. Listen, if you get those escrow refund checks, if you get those insurance refund checks, you should be able to deposit those, because guess what? Next year, your escrow may be short and you may have to kick in a little bit extra. So escrows sometimes are short, sometimes they're over. And if you got that assignment of escrow document when you bought the house subject to, you own that escrow account just like you own the house. So hope that helps, guys. Hope you're out there talking to sellers and buying houses. And listen, we're opening up our JV program again for the first time in over 3 years. If you want to work with someone who's bought houses subject to creative finance, wholesale, done lease options, done the whole bit for 26 years, go hit that application. And you can go to williamtingle.com/JVMax and fill out an application. We've got a few spots in there. We're going to fill those up, and then we're going to close it. And we're going to work with some people and help them buy some houses. And not only that, but we will provide the funding. So if money's been an issue for you, if we're doing deals with you, we'll actually provide the funding to get those done. So go over there, check that out. We'll put a link here in the show notes. So hope that helps, guys. Get out there, talk to some sellers, and buy some houses.